Heated shenanigans, working stiffer than mannequins. Vader time like a mannequin, mega powers, I'm savage and peep the babbling. Got him shook off the verbal acumen. I'm the main event, meaning nobody coming after him. The topics we be tackling, ankle locking and tapping them. I hate seafood, but I might throw the Boston crab on him. You know sometimes it gets heated. You know sometimes it gets heated.
What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to Heated Shenanigans Podcast. We will eventually be joined by Mike as soon as he gets home from the grocery store. But until then, Chase, go ahead and tell everybody out there watching right now what the topic for this stream is.
Oh, don't mind if I do, sir. First, let me say, any moms out there, happy Mother's Day. May this day, be great for all of you. Tonight, on Heated Shenanigans Podcast, we are bringing back the top fives. Everybody loves them. We love doing them. It helps us get creative. It helps the brain juices flow. Tonight's top five is people who should have been WWE champion. So these are guys who, like, they were great. They just never got that push that they deserved. And I think I might have some wild ones.
I got a couple on here on my list that I think we'll have definitely a little bit of crossover. It's weird because we've never done this as a stream before, so I'm excited to see what comes of that. Also, guys, if you have not, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Sharing is caring. Make sure to share the stream with your friends, your family, your mom. Mother's Day. This could be the gift.
Yeah, let mom know what's up, dude. Tell her to come hang out with the boys and get into some shenanigans, dude.
Easy, Chase.
What? I'm talking about fun shenanigans, like talking about wrestling and fucking yard games. We can play yard Yahtzee, dude.
Yard Yahtzee? What the fuck is that?
Oh, for real? Oh, so when we go out to my aunt's for the 4th of July, we play like yard games. We've got like, they have disc golf stuff set up, but we have yard Yahtzee. We have like big foam dice, and those laundry baskets that have like the wire in it that like unfold and stuff.
Yeah.
So you put your dice in there, and it's got handles, and you close it, and you like swing it around, and then let them go, and that's how you keep your. It's like giant Yahtzee.
Okay.
Yard Yahtzee is lit, dude. Cornhole, we're big on cornhole out here.
I am terrible at cornhole.
Oh, I'm nasty at cornhole. I'm so good.
I am the exact opposite. I would not be a very good partner.
Oh, dude.
Great opponent, horrible partner.
Sometimes we play wiffle ball. We've done that a lot. Just out there hitting dingers off of like 9-year-old little kids.
Friggin', where is Mike?
He's in the group chat.
I know he is.
I see him talking. He sent messages. Get in here, son. We waiting on you. You're making your grand appearance, bro. His entrance is longer than the Undertaker's WrestleMania entrance on the motorcycle. Because that shit always seemed to take it was like the longest ride ever. Could you imagine him doing 19 having to walk that ramp?
For me, I thought you meant Mike.
No, Taker. They would have had to elevator him up like halfway.
They would have put him on that ring that they had the guys come out the first few WrestleManias to get him out there.
Gondolas, those things are sick. Those need to make a comeback.
So we got a couple of videos we're going to be releasing here in the coming days. One involving Roman Reigns and John Cena. We also have another one about a Cody Rhodes heel turn. If that would be a good idea and how that would work.
Interesting.
I'm looking forward to putting out those videos coming up. We also do have our Mackenzie Mitchell podcast available right now. Shameless plug. Make sure to check out our sit-down interview with WWE NXT former backstage correspondent, the one and only Mackenzie Mitchell, available on YouTube right now. And also, while we wait, shout out to our upcoming show, Every Child Wins, which is happening Saturday, June 29th, Lafayette, Indiana, at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds, headlined by the Four Pillars of Extreme, the franchise Shane Douglas, the Sandman, Francine, and Bill Alfonso, in addition to some of the absolute top, best professional wrestlers on the independent circuit. It's going to be a can't-miss event. looking forward to June 29th. I'm also looking forward when Mike gets in this so we can actually do this.
Do you have a plug for the Van Vliet? I'll plug Van Vliet real quick.
I don't think I have the graphic up on this one.
Okay, anyway, if we don't have the graphic, it is what it is. Check out the other sit-down that Scott did with one Chris Van Vliet. Hell of an interview. Wonderful. I haven't had a chance to watch the McKenzie one. I've been busy doing stuff. But I'm probably going to peep that after I get done here.
It was a good one. I was
Great.
really glad to be able to sit down and talk with McKenzie. I had a lot of great insight, no pun intended, with Chris Van Vliet, but she really, I don't think should have been let go by WWE. I feel at some point she's going to make a return to WWE. I think it's just a matter of when at this point. While we are waiting though on Mike to get in the chat, let's go ahead and explain how the order will work.
Yeah, because it never adds like we're live, so it'll be fine. But if we were to chop this video and do all the fun editing we do, nothing would match up because it never does. But since we're live, it's going to work way better. I think since he's late, Michael can go first when he gets here.
First, what if he's not prepared?
He's prepared, dude. He's always he stays prepared, so he don't got to get prepared. You know what I'm saying? He prepares to prepare.
Always ready, that one.
Always ready. Mike Lindback, everybody. Mike Bradley. Also, he will be performing live at Every Child Wins, along with
Barney Mugger Street Band.
Barney Muggers. Yeah.
Looking forward to having them at the event as well. As always, great friends of the podcast. But yeah, again, how this will work once Mike gets in here. Mike will start it off, then Chase, then I'll go last. We will each give from 5 to 1 our pick on wrestlers that should have been WWE World Champion at least once in their career. And this is from any era of the WWE, WWF, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, current day. Well, maybe not current day. It's a little premature because there's so many young careers right now that
there is, but there's two guys on my list that are currently active that
are you?
I think they're not necessarily active in WWE, but they're guys who should have gotten that nod while they were there, in my opinion, anyway. Obviously, because this is all opinion based. You might like some of the choices. You may not like some of the choices. If you agree, let us know. If you disagree, let us know.
Respectfully,
we're always up for a spirited debate.
Yes, we are.
My man had to go get some snacks.
Oh, hold on.
Well,
what's going on? Are we live right now?
Yeah,
we are.
8 minutes in, brother. Who would have
live,
thunk?
Cal.
We're live. What's going on, chat? What's going on?
We determined by random draw that you go first.
You want me to jump in?
I mean, say what's up to the people. Get acclimated.
What's going on? Hey, guys, I'm acclimated right now. So everything's introduced?
Yeah, dude, we've had plenty of time.
Number 5, Shelton Benjamin. He should have been that's what we're doing, right? World champion. Shelton Benjamin should have been world champion. One of the most gifted and athletic men in the ring from that era that absolutely should have got a title shot. He came in with the where did they wrestle? OVW? Where were they at?
OVW.
OVW. You know that crop of kids. Almost everyone got a title besides who? One Shelton Benjamin. He had a tag team with who? Brock Lesnar. That's right. The Minnesota Wrecking Crew. And he didn't get a shot. And I'm mad about it. Number 5 is Shelton Benjamin. Okay.
Yeah. Get angry, son. Let him know how you feel.
So
yeah, get heated.
Get heated, baby. So my number 5, big 5, is Rusev. Hear me out. He had a killer, and he was up in a time where there was only one world title, and they had guys that they were gonna put it on. They had their people, right? They had their Cenas, their Ortons, their Rollins, whatever. He had a monstrous U.S. title run.
Gargantuan, some would say.
After he lost to Cena, the point should have been moving him from the mid-card to the main event. And Rusev, even because he had Lana, he didn't need to cut a promo. He had somebody to do that for him already. and he was good in the ring. Number 5, Rusev.
So I'm going to be real interested to see if this gentleman was on your list. For me, the
Probably.
number 5 guy that should have been WWE World Champion, and unfortunately he is no longer with us. He will never have the opportunity to become a WWE World Champion. That is Test.
Oh, I like that.
Shit.
I love that, dude.
That's
Explain
awesome.
it.
Hell
Dude.
yeah. Scott's a big testicle.
Big fan.
And
Test TNA. He loved TNA.
Test was one of those guys that, like, he had the look. He could go in the ring. He was the stereotypical Vince McMahon guy. Like, if Vince was going to sculpt a professional wrestler, it would have been Test.
Yeah.
Lex Luger close second. But with Test, he had the charisma. He could work in the ring. He ran into that feud with Triple H, and Triple H got the push that arguably Test should have got. But there were so many opportunities going forward to give Test a shot in the world title picture, and he never got it. He just fell by the wayside, and more people came in, especially after the invasion angle happened.
I have a theory on why he was never world champion. And it could be wrong. But look at the era he was popular in. It was right as another, and he's great now. Great guy. Fantastic guy. Slam up guy. But when one Triple H was on the rise, so was Test. A relationship was made around this time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. Yes.
It's just things happened. It's just how it works. Test got the boot and didn't get the Brinks truck, baby.
That's right.
So neither of you guys had Test on your list?
Nope.
No, that was a good one though. I wish I would have thought about it.
That was a pull, bro. That was
a pull, bro. Holographic, dude. I love it, dude. Put that one on a sleeve and keep it in a binder.
PSA 10, graded, ring match.
Are you ready for number 4?
Card.
Well, if you were ready for number 4, I've got some bad news for you. Wade Barrett should have been WWE champion, and he should have beat John Cena for it, and it should have been a Mania match. I would have taken him beating Randy Orton, but it should have been John Cena. Wow. Wade Barrett and the Nexus group were red hot for a few months until John Cena came in and said doo-doo-doo to the fucking flame that they had going.
Apple juice!
And then, not to mention, right? They cool him off. Wade has to go off. He has to do fuck all. King Barrett, all that shit. Actually, I don't know the timeline if that was before. But then he gets re-hot again with Bad News Barrett. One of the most over things in the company. He's on a fucking skyrise, dude.
He was on a
Jeff Hardy would have jumped off of it. Instead, we just had Wade Barrett jumping up the ratings, brother. And he didn't get a world title shot. I'm mad about it. That's my number 4.
I seriously thought you were going to say Bad News Brown when you were doing that.
You would have been hyped too. You were like, yeah, it's my era.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I loved watching him in the territory days, getting video.
They came up together.
My number 4 is the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The fact that we have went this far and haven't had any overlays is so surprising.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Shamrock, he kind of got lost in the mix a little bit because he was really cool and he was really over because he really would get in there and try to beat the fuck out of people because that's what he knew how to do. But he got caught up in the Montreal situation semi because they talked about having him win the title and then drop it to Shawn. And then Austin happens a few months later. He does some good stuff in the corporation, but I really think Shamrock could have gotten that run, especially in the Attitude Era, because it literally felt like Big Show and Kane were the fucking world heavyweight champion. And you're telling me a fucking unit like Shamrock couldn't be the champion? He took a fucking square chair shot to the face from The Rock.
Wait, are you saying Kane shouldn't have been world champion? I can do a whole video on that, brother.
He shouldn't have been.
It should have been Sham. Scott, what do you got?
Well,
for
in the pod? My number 4,
Make it hot.
While he is in the WWE Hall of Fame, we have had several talks on the podcast about if he is or if he isn't, but he is. And number 4 is Ravishing Rick Rude should have been WWE World Champion.
I thought about him making my list, so I'm glad.
So did I. I really did. And then I was like, nah, I have other.
I just watched a video on Twitter of a jobber like doing a spot where he stomps on Rick Rude's abs and he no-sells in. He goes, "Look at these! You can't hurt these." It was so good.
Yeah, there was always something. WCW, multiple-time world champion. But
Yeah.
WWFE, like,
Nada.
he couldn't get into that picture. And their roster at that time was loaded, but Rude had it all. The dripping with charisma. He could work. He could talk. He had it all except a world championship. We do have a comment here I want to highlight. Scott Hayden said, Roddy Piper, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Jake the Snake, William Regal.
Is that Keaton's dad?
Maybe.
If you're Keaton's dad, let us know.
What's up, dude? Remember we rode to AEW together? If not, sorry, dude. Sorry we didn't ride to AEW together.
All right. So, hypothetical. So, Rick Rude was like one of the first people to have a good match with the Ultimate Warrior, correct?
Dude, it is Keaton's dad.
What up, dude?
Yeah. So, Rick Rude was one of the first people to have like a good match with Warrior, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he beat Warrior for the IC strap, correct?
Keep going.
Could they have slid Rick Rude in to beat Warrior for the world title when he won it from Hogan? Because they could have basically told the story of Rick Rude was like, I took one title from you, so now I'm going to take the other one. And, like, the story writes itself. I'm just saying. I mean, we can do this all day.
I'm not upset by it.
Any situation that involves Ultimate Warrior not being world champion, I'm okay with.
Mike, back to you for round 3.
So number 3, I played with mine. 1 and 2 are locked in. My number 3, even right now, I'm a little torn, but I gotta lock in, and I'm gonna go with my original choice that I had written down, and that's one John Morrison. I think John Morrison could have been WWE World Champion. He reminded me so much of Michaels, but improved upon it in so many ways because he did things, no offense, because Shawn just, it was an older generation that Shawn couldn't do. He was incredible in the ring. Maybe he lacked a little bit on the mic, but I don't think it's something that they couldn't have figured out through a manager or just whatever, right? Because that guy was incredible. The just brilliant intro when it would go slow-mo and the fucking guitar slaying, dude. I was a big Morrison mark. Oh, it was so good. I thought Eminem was that?
Yeah, with
Eminem.
Joey Mercury.
Yeah, well, I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the rapper. There's no way, but I guess they did. So Eminem was great too. It was fantastic. I wish they would have had a longer run. But yeah, John Morrison, that's my number 3. I'm locking it in right now.
Bro, speaking of Eminem, I just watched the Armageddon with the ladder match where Joey Mercury ate the ladder.
I thought you were gonna say, speaking of Eminem, my number 3 is Joey Mercury, and I'm like, okay, guy, like,
no,
he was good.
Yeah, I just watched him eat a ladder the other night, and that shit still to this day, I cringed when he
It's tough to watch.
They closed up his face. I was like, oh my God. Listen, my number 3, and we still don't have any overlay, which is wonderful. My number 3 is somebody who was super over at the end of the Hogan era and into the new generation. That's one Davey Boy Smith, the British
Wow.
Bulldog could have been world champion in that new generation era.
That's good.
He could have a good match with Bret. He could have a match with Yoko. He could work with Shawn. He could work with Diesel, Razor, Owen. He could work with everybody. And he was good in the ring. The only thing that held him back, and I fucking hate this still from Vince, is he's got an accent. What the fuck does that matter? He speaks English, dumbass. It's just a different kind of English, you fucking idiot.
That's the quote of the video, is he speaks English, dumbass.
But Bulldog's my number 3.
That's super solid. Love that.
That is a solid number 3. For me, this is a gentleman that easily could have filled the role of the most sympathetic babyface in WWE history. He has had one of the greatest WrestleMania matches against Macho Man Randy Savage. man that should have been WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Bulls, dude. This list is going. This is so fire.
This is the best list we've ever done.
Listen, I already know we've gone this far with no overlap. I didn't mean to cut you off, Scott. I'm sorry. We've gone this far with no overlap. I know that one of my next picks is one of Michael's picks for sure.
Same. I feel like my next two picks are at least on Scott's numbers. I feel like, yeah, okay, but go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott. Explain.
So with Ricky Steamboat, unquestionably one of the greatest baby faces of all time. And like, think of the monsters that they had in WWF at that time. Could you imagine a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus, say, The Undertaker versus Andre the Giant? Was on the way out at that time. You couldn't have really had a whole lot of crossover there. But just his ability to sell, like Ricky Steamboat and Ted DiBiase for the World Heavyweight title would have been phenomenal. The entire roster you could have ran Ricky Steamboat against and made a lot of money. Eventually Flair came in. You could add Flair and Steamboat
on a WrestleMania.
Or even a young Sean or a young Brett against them. Oof.
Yeah, fire.
Incredible. Are we ready?
Number 2.
It's time for overlap, baby. Because I would like to say that number 2 is a great pick, but it's a perfect pick. It's Mr. Perfect. He is my number 2. Neither of you guys.
I thought about him. I thought about him so hard.
Wow, I'm offended. I really thought I was going to have overlap. My number 1's definitely going to have overlap. But number 2, Mr. Perfect, one of the best in-ring technicians of all time, one of the greatest bumpers, one of the greatest gimmicks, and he didn't need a long run at all. He could have had a little 3 to 6 month run, especially in that early 90s era. Especially when he was in that Royal Rumble and he had those moments with Hogan. I really thought they were gonna go there, brother, but it didn't work for him. But imagine how good of those matches would have been, because Hogan's best matches were against guys who could carry him in the ring, and that would have been perfect. No pun intended. And with Brett, we saw what happened at King of the Ring. He deserved it. Like I said, maybe not a short, just give him a short run and then see what he does with it, because I bet he would have brought prestige to it. So my number 2 is Mr. Perfect.
Chase, we've not crossed over yet. We're going to continue.
I'm scared.
I hope not. I hope I'm not stealing brother's pick right here. But I think it's going to be his number 1, honestly. This guy, he wasn't a jester. He wasn't a peasant. He was the king of hearts, Owen Hart.
Oh.
Should have been world
Is that one of yours?
champion.
My number 2.
He wasn't on my list.
We can both talk about this a
little
bit. So I think that Brett was the better wrestler for sure. No question. But Brett's promo was always dry, and everybody knows this. It's not
until he turned heel. His heel promos were pretty underrated.
Promos were good, but his babyface promos were horrible. Owen Hart was far better on the microphone, and I think being champion and having to be like a chicken shit heel and sell would have been the sweet spot for Owen.
Absolutely.
Because he
could you imagine if they would have had a Money in the Bank back then and he would have cashed in on his brother?
Because like heel Owen could work babyface Taker, and it would work perfect. He could work Shawn, he could work Brett, he could work Bulldog. Like I just said, like Owen Hart should have been the guy at least once.
Scott, talk about it.
You know, that pick's so good. Let's talk about it again. Owen Hart was my number 2, and again, it's for all the points that you brought up with Owen. He could do it all. Outside of just being like a dick towards Brett and not letting him out of his contract, there was a lot of fear that Owen would have been arguably a bigger loss to the company than Brett for future purposes. Owen had so much to offer, and Owen could have been a phenomenal champion. Keep in mind, the game gimmick was originally meant for Owen Hart.
Yeah.
That was not meant, that was something Triple H ended up with, but that was originally made for Owen. And I would have loved to have seen what creativity Owen could have brought to that. But yeah, definitely Owen Hart was my number 2 pick for should have been a WWE World Champion?
So my number one.
Number
I'm
one.
gonna be fucking surprised if it's neither of you guys' list. But I want to take a poll on this one. Owen should have been 10. That's right, Josh Carlos. My number one. Hey yo, it's Scott Hall, the Bad Main. Razor Ramon should have been world champion when he fought Bret Hart at the Royal Rumble. He should have won that night and kept it until Mania.
What's going on, Jared? Hopefully you're doing well out there, brother.
Razor Ramon, he had an emasculate gimmick. He was one of the best. He was in great shape, dude. He was cutting killer promos. He could have a banger match with anyone for his size because most guys that are that big were kind of clunky. And Razor, he was not. I think Razor should have been world champion. That is my number one.
He was so fucking cool. All right. Michael and I had no overlay.
Surprising.
Scott and I have only had one. I told Scott before Michael came in, 2 of the guys on my roster are still actively wrestling, but not in WWE. My number one pick should have been WWE champion is fucking Cesaro.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Cesaro.
Not on my list.
Man, he is a... Ray would have been on this list, but they just had to put the belt on him. I swear to God, thank you. That was one of the worst decisions ever. They should have just had Cena just win the belt.
Or have Cena turn on Ray. That would have been perfect. But
yeah, dude. One more
toss him around like a little tiny
one more person
man
turned on Ray. But yeah, Cesaro is the number one. Should have been world heavyweight champion. He's a freak of nature. Like he's Swiss, but he speaks once again. He's got an accent, bro.
Say the line.
Say
the line.
He speaks English, dumbass.
There we go.
His English wasn't perfect, but like he could cut a promo if he had to. And this is a case where you utilize something that's not, kind of is making a resurgence now, but at this point it wasn't really used, but with a few guys, give him a manager.
This man's spitting. Josh is spitting.
Hey, DDP
don't get Michael
my
started.
guy. Don't get me started. He should have been world champion if he would have been booked correctly. Instead, they made him a stalker.
Number
one.
Go ahead. Scott?
I went back and forth. This was so difficult to give the number one to. I almost went with my heart pick and said Jake Roberts, but I didn't. I went with someone who at the time could have had nuclear heat if given the world championship in the 90s, and that is Goldust.
That's a good one.
Unquestionably really one of the best characters in WWE. He was fully developed from top to bottom with his character, with his gimmick. Mm-hmm. He had unbelievable heat. Could you imagine a Goldust Shawn Michaels feud for the title in the 90s? That would have been incredible. Both at the peak of their wrestling careers. It's wild to think how over Goldust was, but never got the world title.
That's a phenomenal pick. We only had one overlap, guys. That's one of our congrats to us. Can we get a round of applause?
I'm so surprised you didn't have Owen on your list.
I thought about it. I got some honorable mentions. There's the obvious ones, of course. Roddy, Dusty, Lex was super close to being my number 3. But yeah, of course, there was a lot to pick from, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did have one honorable mention, and I felt this might have been the biggest blunder by WWE, considering he was one of their first big acquisitions in the Monday Night War, and that was Vader.
Damn. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's a fucking...
Fuck. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball with Vader.
Nobody had Ted DiBiase. We could say DiBiase. He didn't technically he bought it from Andre, and then Jack Tunney took it from him. He was never world champion, really.
I don't think Orndorff was champion.
No.
Nope. Not once.
Nope. Booker T never won the WWE title either.
He didn't win the WWE. He did not.
Scott Steiner. If Scott Steiner hadn't been so beat up when he came back in 2002, he won the title.
If he would have got there a couple years earlier,
Oh, for sure. He would have been so over. The Freaks, baby.
The Freaks.
I mean, I feel like we could do this all night. There's so many guys.
Yeah.
I guess out of all of them, like, it's so weird, like how different WWE could have been if any of these guys would have had their opportunity. The biggest one for me was Test.
I'd say, let me say one more, and I think if he would have lived, he probably could have got there. He would have got over to that point, but that's Pillman. I think Pillman could have got to that point. Incredibly charismatic. He was really good in the ring. I know he lost a little bit of a step after the injury, I think after the accident, but yeah, he was so good. I think he could have been a world champion. Him and Austin working for that belt.
I was just about to say, as over as that feud was, Austin hadn't really arrived
right
at the level he was at. Could you imagine how over the top Brian Pillman and Austin would have been in the late 90s?
Yeah. And then a name we didn't mention, and it's a shame. Shane McMahon. Or Sting, but Shane McMahon mainly.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
He comes on money.
I would let me present this. Would you have preferred Vince to be champion or Shane to be champion?
Shane.
Okay. And it would have made even more sense. Like you can go the Nepo route. Shane was better in the ring. I
would honorable mention Billy Gunn. Billy was good.
Boy, did The Rock ever derail that fucking push?
I swear to God.
Jesus.
Terry Funk should have been fucking WWE champion at some point. Like, Mark Henry should have been WWE champion.
The problem for Terry Funk, though, like, he was never in WWE at an opportune time to get the title.
No, he was doing too much in NWA.
Yeah, he worked a lot, like, in the 70s, I guess, but, like...
That was my number 5, Josh. Don't you steal it. But great pick.
Yeah, don't steal stuff.
Yeah, guys, reminder here, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Really helps us out a lot here. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And we're going to make sure everybody knows about it. Turn the notifications on.
Oh, wait. Never mind. He was. I just had a fucking massive brain fart.
Who are you going to say?
I was going to say Van Dam, but I forgot he won the title at One Night Stand.
It didn't last long, though.
It did, yeah, because he got...
The car ride from...
Fucking...
Ooh, the turnpike got him.
Yeah,
Jamaica.
He didn't. He had to put the turnpike over.
Taz could have been WWE champion.
He got injured pretty quickly into coming into WWE, didn't he?
I think so.
Within a year,
yeah,
he was already done.
Derailed him.
Christian never held the WWE World Title, did he?
No.
That's that thing with 2 world championships. It's like, man, yeah, you got a world championship, but it's not the world championship. So
yeah,
it's not the one they felt comfortable giving you to run with.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, if looking back now, maybe not so much, but at the time, I think you could argue Ahmed Johnson at a period of time.
Oh, sure.
He was super over.
He just couldn't. He couldn't stay healthy. What about?
And stop pissing off Farouk.
Yeah. What about Farouk?
Man,
leader of the nation. I got another one. Pete Gas.
All right, man. It's been a great episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
What a way to end it. He speaks English,
dumbass.
Wait, oh yeah, he won.
He never held the WWE title.
You know what he did hold? Hey guys, it's been a great episode.
Oof.
God, trying to think who else from like the Attitude Era had so many people that could have been world champions.
Yeah.
Okay, would you at any point argue Mark Marrow should have been?
No.
No?
No.
I thought he had a better gimmick in WCW.
He killed Lawler, yeah.
Lawler, that's a great pick.
I think Marrow, when they had him get powerbombed by Sable, everybody has ever said it killed all of his momentum.
That segment cost him a program with Austin.
Oh, I know. What about
here's a hot Boss Man. Boss Man could have been in multiple times too. It could have been 80s, 90s.
Double J. Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
Oh shit! Yes.
Bam,
Bigelow.
great.
Bigelow could have been fucking world champ, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why was he never given the opportunity? Like
I
he
don't know.
was.
Do you guys think there could have ever been a point where Rikishi could have been the world champion, even for a little bit?
I don't know.
Like
No.
after he ran over
He
Austin?
shook ass for a gimmick. I don't know. Here's one. Well, it's kind of a twofer, but here's one. Bart Gunn. I think they should have used how far. So here's what they should have done. They should have pivoted when they realized they should have done a shoot fucking boxing tournament. But when they realized he was the best shoot wrestling boxer, they should have let him win instead of putting him out there with Butterbean and letting him get slaughtered. He should have won, and then you push him. They fucked that up.
What about D'Lo?
Was he ever hot?
Yeah, the head thing, that was cool.
Yeah. Hardcore Holly?
No.
No, I'm good.
No.
That bully.
He never
what
stood
about
out.
Neville?
Who?
Pac. Not X-Pac, but like Adrian Neville.
Vader. Yep. Yep. Neville? I don't know. He was great, but I mean, there was that match he had with Seth. I just don't think he had reached that level yet where I felt like they could have threw it on him.
That match with Seth was fucking wild.
That was so good. I think we're running out of names.
No, there's a lot of the ECW ones we could have thrown in here too, like Shane. I mean, Triple H stole his entire fucking gimmick. The least they could have done was give him a run with the belt.
Yeah. What about Ray?
Hold on. China.
I would not have been mad. It would have been.
It was debated.
Yeah, but like, so think of who she would have had to have. She would have had to have worked a match with Austin for sure. There's nobody. They're not gonna.
And we know Austin's not putting anyone over.
They're not gonna put it on another woman. Like China, if a woman was ever to hold the world championship, China made the most sense. Now Rhea Ripley could make the most sense. But like China versus Austin, does that draw money?
No, but China versus Triple H, if he would have had the belt, would have. She just turns and just fucking hauls off on him. And then when he beats her back, he has all the heat for someone else to beat him.
That's true too.
Good.
Hey, what do I know?
Who else?
There's so many people like looking at this list. Like Adam Cole's a more modern day one. Adam Cole would have been a great pick.
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee would have been a killer.
Until they gave him that, what was it, Bear Claw or whatever?
Bearcat.
They gave him the worst gimmick change, and then that was
the donut gimmick, the Bear Claw man.
What about somebody who had his shot last year? What about Sami Zayn?
I mean, that one feels unfair because it still might happen.
I mean, that's fair, but it hasn't happened yet, and it's a goddamn travesty. What about Shinsuke? We know that's not going to happen. They're not going to put the belt on him anytime soon.
He never won a world championship in WWE?
No, he won the Rumble, lost to AJ, kicked him in the dick after the match, and then lost.
Oh, yeah, because dick kicking became a honky tonk man.
Honking and tonking.
He was a honking and a tonking, dude. He was honking and talking, brother. Who else from like the 80s?
Tank Abbott.
Get the hell out.
He would have killed somebody. He would have stabbed him.
Oh, God. What about Jimmy Snuka?
He would have killed it. He would have murdered it, dude. What a miss. I think AJ won the W title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think Earthquake.
Really?
Dude,
what about Luke Harper? What about Brody?
I thought there was a chance when they had that. I thought they were going to build to a 3-way. That didn't happen, and I thought it was a shame. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty over, especially that time they were working the Orton angle. So
yeah.
Dolph never won, right?
Not the WWE title. He won the World Heavyweight.
No, didn't he beat Ambrose for it at one of the things? I swear he had
a wait, yeah, the scramble. Like he might have been for like a few minutes.
That doesn't count. Hey, if anyone's
it's in the
Dino
record
Bravo.
books.
Craig
is in the record books.
Dino Bravo. Who else from the 80s?
Jake, obvious.
Jake.
Regal, like.
Oh, Regal would have been great if they would have ran with him. They ended up treating him like a joke every time he got the most over.
Yeah.
Who are some guys that Hogan held down in the 80s?
Everyone.
Everybody.
Fucking the whole roster.
Everybody. The whole locker room. Tito.
Tito would have been great.
Really?
I rock with Tito.
Bundy.
I don't know, man. He just looked like a thumb in a unitard. I wasn't really a fan of Bundy. Maybe
What's the hate with
before my
Bundy?
era, but he just looks like a thumb wearing a singlet. I wasn't a huge fan. I'll give you Tito, though. I like Tito a lot.
What about One Man Gang? He could have been champ. Hogan could have just stomped him out and just beat him, have a big heel.
Cool. His whole existence as a character, not as a person, but as a character, is just.
If he had both feet, Kerry Von Erich.
What about Marty Jannetty? Was he ever?
No.
There's a
I'm
reason.
just asking.
There's a reason they call him the Marty Jannetty of tag teams.
Yeah.
I like Marty.
What about
he's
kid? What about X-Pac? You think X-Pac ever could have been?
I love X-Pac, but man, I don't know.
Boy, if they argued about Sean's size being world champion,
yeah,
they'd have had to pump him with all the PEDs.
Fuck.
He'd have had to have a bowl of
the wall, brother.
Yes, bring back the wall. Hashtag. Didn't we have that conversation in the car down in Indy?
Yeah.
We were talking about fucking what was Alex Wright's gimmick? Berlin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We said he should have worked. The wall should have worked Berlin. Oh my god.
Oh, that would have been great.
And there's plenty of WCW guys that didn't.
We had the idea we were going to pitch to you, but I think we forgot. We said we told each other that you should try to get the wall or Berlin for a signing. Oh shit!
Now we're talking.
Demento. He had a cool look for sure. Could you imagine if IRS would have been champion? He just stole it.
Mark Jindrak.
Jindrak, man, I don't know if I posted it in the group chat, but I watched the story of how Triple H was like, I don't want him and Orton together. He thought he was a bad influence on Orton, so he got rid of Jindrak. But it's wild. I love Batista, but Sean O'Hare. I love Batista, but Jindrak was younger. He was just as big. He was super athletic, but Trips didn't like him, and he got shoved out the group, so it's wild.
And they filmed the vignettes with him, which was crazy.
Because Triple H was politicking it. He didn't quite go through yet.
Yeah. That's just...
He fell down just to complete obscurity in WWE afterwards.
Yeah.
He was like in a Z-list tag team, and then that was it. He was cut.
So I'm going to pose this idea live right here for everybody. The next top 5, because these are fun. I like doing these.
Oh, the next top 5.
Especially in this format. I think we should do top 5 worst gimmicks ever.
Worst? I already got my number 1.
Don't tell me, but...
Yeah, top 5 worst gimmicks.
I already got number 1. Oh, damn.
Kennedy! He was gonna be!
He was supposed to be Vince's kid, and then he got popped for PEDs.
That's a good one, Mr.
Then he got fired for almost killing Randy Orton.
Hey, who hasn't?
Yeah.
Who hasn't almost killed Randy Orton? That's worked with him. Linda. Linda, dude. Big Linda Mark.
You know she's only McMahon to never hold a world title?
Really?
Only McMahon that's never won a title in WWE.
Dude, her versus Steph would have slapped for the Divas belt, dude.
Literally.
That would have been horrible.
Wheelchair on a pole match?
Okay, so imagine how shit. So we all know how shitty Vince was. Could you imagine how bad Linda would have been?
I saw the tombstone. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
And the stunner.
Yeah. Bad.
You know, so something I think WWE should look to maybe bring back. Obviously can't be with him because I don't think he would be a good idea to throw him in the ring nowadays. But Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
The right to censor gimmick had so much freaking heat. Imagine if they would have got the world title. That would have been huge.
Was anyone big enough in that group to win it, though?
I have a feeling we're going to be asking the same thing about the Wyatt family when they re-debut.
It's a hot take, brother.
I do think, side note though, I do think, and it's not really a hot take because a lot of people have been talking about it, that Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes match, they're going to interfere in that. It'll be a no contest.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Because it keeps both of them safe. Cody has no business winning the damn title.
I mean, neither does Logan.
Yeah.
Not now, no. Logan shouldn't win the title now.
No.
Should be a WWE champion later on, though.
I'm going to be mad.
You know who should have been WWE champion? Kevin Federline.
All right, it's been a great episode, guys.
So, Mike, how you been?
Oh, bro, that's crazy. You could just turn me off like that. I feel censored.
Well, he has the right to censor.
It's like a yo-yo.
Dumbass. Hornswoggle should have been champion.
Swoggle. The belt would have just looked like pants. It's Psy opposite would have went.
No, but I do think though, like I think it's
Umaga should have been.
Yo,
boom.
Umaga would have been a great pick to be a world champion.
This might sound funny first off, but there was a point he was really hot. Matt Hardy, when he had came back and the fans petitioned for him to come back.
Yeah,
he could have pulled it off. Or when he turned on Jeff.
I don't think Matt was ever any more over than when he came back against Edge during that Lita thing.
He was so over, dude.
R-Truth.
Okay, so that's a good pick.
When he started doing Little Jimmy and he was wrestling John Cena and shit, he should have beat Cena at least one pay-per-view and held the title for a little bit.
So I like that one. One that might be like a little bit more controversial, but I think done in the right way could have been huge. I think Eugene could have been a good WWE champion.
That's a pick.
That's a pick. Whole, like, empowerment angle.
I mean, not just like if you think about it, like back then, like he might have been one of the biggest baby faces on the roster.
Oh,
I don't think there's an
over.
What about the stuff?
Buff? Absolutely not.
What?
Buff wasn't good enough.
Sandbagged in that shit match.
Buff wasn't good enough to be WCW champion.
Okay. Did you see the match where they put his mom on a forklift?
He wasn't good enough at the end.
Whatever, dude.
Respectfully to Buff, there was never a point in Buff's career he could have been WWE champion.
There's never a point in Buff's career he could have been champion at all, anywhere.
Wow. He had the stuff, dude. You're being mean about it.
He had some stuff.
He had some stuff, dude.
So, no joke, Billy Kidman was almost on my list.
Really? And WWE Billy Kidman. I'll give you WCW champion, but I don't. Where was he sniffing around where you were like, man, this would make sense to plug in Billy here?
I always loved
Perry Saturn, though, I'll give you. Perry Saturn, I felt like he looked like a champion.
Yeah.
Did he? When not sure. Christian only had the world heavyweight. Unfortunately. Hey, this is another. We've going 50 minutes. Another one. This is serious. Even though he was the shits in the ring, he was really over at one point, and that's Ryback. It's debatable he should have beat Punk at Hell in a Cell. He was on an undefeated streak. I know we remember Ryback as he is now, and it's funny, but I was there, dude. He was over.
Ryback was over as fuck. And listen, I'll say it. When he was just killing people, I was a Ryback guy, dude. When he'd come out and he'd just fucking feed me more. I was like, feed that man, baby. Let him eat.
Feed him, dumbass.
Feed him, dumbass.
So, one that I think could have been, this arguably could have been the biggest heel champion in WWE history,
Jared Fulton.
Muhammad Hassan.
Did you say? I heard what you said. That's not okay. That's a great hell of a pick.
Brother.
If they didn't make him a terror, I mean, he was a terrorist. Let's not fucking sugarcoat it.
I mean, that's what
if they hadn't done that to him and given him something suitable, for sure he could have been world champ.
He was supposed to win the world title, but with that stuff that happened in France, they had to nix that whole idea, and then they had to get him off TV, so they fed him to The Undertaker. But, dude, Muhammad Hassan had all of the heat in the freaking world.
Giant Gonzalez? The man suit?
All right, turn him off.
What did I do? Batista. Yeah, he fought
Who was
Batista.
going to fight Batista?
Hassan.
Oh, yeah, that's right, at the Great American Bash.
Yeah.
Just following. I'm so confused.
Luke Harper would have been a good world champion.
Yep. For sure. Who
What
else?
are you not thinking of, dude?
Complete side note, I saw this earlier and I thought this was interesting. Do you know when Jack Tunney died, WWE didn't even fucking acknowledge it?
Really?
Yeah, like there's a huge video about it. I don't know if he had any outside heat with WWE, but he was a huge focal point of the company for a good bit of years. I don't even think he's in the Hall of Fame.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Jim Johnston not being in the Hall of Fame is disrespectful as hell. That man wrote
They need to hire him back. Those new themes are fucking dog shit.
Yeah, they're ass. But some of them are ass. Some of them are okay.
The ones that got brought in from other companies are fine. The fucking AJ one, ugh. Like, I know he's supposed to be a heel. We're not supposed to cheer him, but it's so bad, dude.
Horrible.
Jim Johnston got it. Like, that dude definitely should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Def Rebel
suck, bro.
Is that who makes them now?
Yeah.
And CFO was the ones that made them before, right? That's who made Shinsuke's and stuff. And
yeah, they
made the really good Adam Cole one.
Undisputed Era theme song.
Oh, so good. What happened? They just got a money dispute, right? That's why they quit.
Yeah, I think so.
So dumb. So dumb.
Well, guys, we'll go and wrap this up. I thought this was a great way to bring this back and do it in this format, be a little bit more interactive with all the fans here. We really appreciate all of it. Our next top 5 is going to be worst gimmicks in WWE history. We'll be bringing that to you.
Wrestling history. We don't need to limit it to, because there's been several. There were a lot in WCW too. So I think we could just do this as worst gimmicks in wrestling history.
That's fair. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it here for your boys at Heated Shenanigans Podcast. Everybody out there, happy Mother's Day. Stay safe, and we will see you with the next episode coming up soon. Everybody take care.